The Radiomaster Pocket, the greatest of all times when it comes to cheap, beginner-friendly FPV controllers. But what if there's a new kid on the block? What if something could challenge this? What if this is no longer the greatest of all times? Come with me while I investigate. See, a debate has been raging upon my Discord all morning today, and I decided that there's only one way to resolve it. See, Radiomaster released the TL8, a very similar radio in design to the new BetaFPV LiteRadio 4. And the question is, how do they compare to each other? Now, Radiomaster are not going to send me one of them. That's just the way it is. However, because it is very similar to the BetaFPV LiteRadio 4, I figured we'd crack this one open and have a look and see how they compare. Now, the thing is with this version of the LiteRadio, this is not the same one that I showed you last week. Let me move the camera and you'll see why. This is what BetaFPV called the Moonlight Edition of the LiteRadio 4. It's only a couple of dollars more expensive than the standard version, but it comes with two things that make it worthwhile that extra cost. Now, number one is it's a limited edition midnight blue, which I'll try and get some shots of it to show it off properly. Obviously, once you're under sort of bright lights, it nullifies a little bit of some of the special sort of colouring, but we'll try and get some special shots of it when we can. The other main factor though is that these gimbals are Hall effect gimbals, which means they are very similar to the gimbals that you can see on the Radiomaster Pocket. You can't actually see it, but you know what I mean. So that leads us then to a couple of considerations. And first of all, we're going to consider buttons, because you need to have enough buttons to be able to set your drones up. So on the BetaFPV LiteRadio 4, you've got a 2-position switch there and a 2-position switch there, and you've got a 3-position switch there and a 3-position switch there. And you've got 2 latching switches at the back. So that gives you a total of 6, 8, 10, 12 positions. That's quick maths for anybody who was wondering what I was doing. Let's compare that to the Radiomaster Pocket. So, a latching switch there and a latching switch there. You've got 2 3-position switches there, and you've got a momentary switch there. You do have a dial as well, but ultimately, when it comes to the switches on the top anyway, the BetaFPV is slightly better equipped. Where it really does come into its own, in my opinion, is the form factor. This form factor for a lot of us these days, this gamepad form factor, is what a lot of us want on our small, compact controllers. And there is a consideration to go out to the Jumper Bumblebee, which I will grab and put on screen shortly. The problem with the Jumper Bumblebee, though, is its cost. It costs more than these two. And yes, again, as always, you are arguing that you get what you pay for, because with the Jumper Bumblebee, of course, you are getting 1 watt ELRS, whereas with this you're getting 100 watts, with this you're getting 250 watts, neither of which are massive power outputs. Legally in the UK we can't use them, so we don't, obviously. Thanks, officer. But there you go, you know, you get what you pay for, so yeah. Now, there is no trainer port on the BetaFPV either. Does anybody in 2025 still use wireless or plug-in trainer ports? Please do let me know in the comments down below. It was a great thing. The Buddy Box was a great thing when I was learning. But now we've got simulators and stuff. And these quads fly very much like a video game in a lot of respects. So I don't think necessarily people use them. But if you're still using a Buddy Box or a trainer port, let me know in the comments down below, please. The other thing is, obviously there's no screen on this, but there is a screen on that. Let me move this camera a little bit. The next consideration then that we've got is going to be the price. The BetaFPV LiteRadio is coming in at $49. That is for this special edition that we've got on the bench. There is only 1,000 of them available, but it does have that better gimbal and it has a different colour instead of just plain boring old black. So there is that to consider as well. The Radiomaster Pocket is coming in at $64 on Radiomaster's website. So you are paying an extra $15. For that, you are getting obviously a training port, you're getting a screen, and you are getting a slightly higher power output on ELRS from 100 watt to 250 watt. But is that $15 extra worth it? And It depends. It really does depend, because if you're looking for a gamepad style controller, the Radiomaster Pocket just isn't it. And I wish that Radiomaster brought out a gamepad style controller that was fully featured, like the Jumper Bumblebee essentially, but at a bit of a lower price point. Or if Jumper just reduced the price of the Bumblebee, then I think ultimately they'd be on to a winner there as well. So ultimately, what this comes down to, this comparison now, is do you want the form factor of a gamepad style? In which case, the BetaFPV LiteRadio 4 is probably the one that you're going to want to go for. Now sure, Radiomaster do have the T8L coming out, but it's unlikely that you're going to get that before next year now. So if you're looking for something right now and you want a gamepad style, I'd highly recommend this. If you don't want a gamepad style, but you want a small, light and cheap compact controller to get you into the hobby, then the Radiomaster Pocket is absolutely still up there as one of the very, very best. But let me give you a really quick third one to consider. So the extra consideration that I want you to think about is the Jumper Bumblebee. This could be everything to every man. I'm somebody with absolutely ginormous hands, and even I am happy to fly with it because it's a gamepad style controller. You've got 1 watt of ELRS. In comparison to the BetaFPV at 100 milliwatts and the Radiomaster at 250 milliwatts, it is significantly higher of an output. Do you need 1 watt? No, but that's another story for another day. Generally speaking, you can run a much lower power rating. However, there are instances where it's good to have it, and if you've got the option of upping your power, you can get out of the situation that you're in. If you don't have the option of upping your power, what can you do? It's best to have it and not use it than not have it and need it. It's one of my favourite sayings. So the difficulty here then is you're looking at around about $75 for the Jumper Bumblebee. So you're sort of going up from $50 to $65 to $75. But the Jumper Bumblebee is, in my opinion, if you are going to be serious about the hobby, something that you should look at. Like I say, you've got 1 watt, you've got full ELRS support, you've got an OLED display as well, so you've got a better display than is on the Radiomaster. In actual fact, even though it is slightly more expensive, I don't think, compared to what you're paying, it's a massive problem, to be honest. So what you need to do essentially is pick your budget and your form factor that suits you the best. Does a gamepad style suit you the best? In which case it's going to be the Jumper Bumblebee or the BetaFPV LiteRadio 4. Does spending as little as possible to get into the hobby because you're not sure whether you're going to like it suit you more, or are you happy to spend a little bit extra? The BetaFPV is the one if you're on a really tight budget. If you want to spend that little bit extra and have that little bit of extra quality, the Jumper Bumblebee will be the one. If you don't want a gamepad style form factor, then the Radiomaster Pocket, which is just actually off screen right now, but the Radiomaster Pocket is still the greatest of all times when it comes to cheap, cheerful, getting you in the hobby and providing you with a really good solid control link. Got any questions whatsoever, please do drop them in the comments down below. You've all been absolute legends as always. There's never any question about that. I'm slowly getting better. Until next time, peace out. YouTube and I have had a chat and we believe that this is the video that you'll like the most, so watch it and let me know if they're right.